Hey guys, this is Robinax1 here, and I'm here to do the comic book haul for the month that's just been, for the May period. So we're gonna get started with that. I have got a lot of stuff from Secret Wars, that I'm actually going to be reviewing as a separate thing. I'm not going to have it as comic book haul because I'm going to be giving you guys more in-depth reviews as individual comics. But for next, I will definitely show you what I picked up because I got some great little comics. So let's let's actually show you what comics I did actually pick up from Secret Wars. I also picked up issue 8 of Thor. This is actually going to the revelation of who the female Thor is. This is actually going to be done as a with the whole volume. I'm going to be reviewing volume 1 and 2 of Thor. So that'll be done in those reviews. So yeah. So expect there to be the Thor reviews coming fairly soon. So in terms of the Secret Wars stuff, I picked up a bunch. I picked up Secret Wars issue 1 and Secret Wars issue 2. I also picked up Secret Wars Battle World Ultimate End. I picked up Secret Wars 29.9 issue 1. And I also picked up Infinity Gauntlet issue 1. So again, expect individual reviews on that. And also I picked up some really cool preview specials. I love this idea. This is kind of like a newspaper idea, and it's so cool. Just something great, something that really adds quite a lot to the thing, to the event. And I also picked up the preview, obviously. So I picked up them. Now for the actual reviews themselves, I picked up Uncanny X-Men issue 34. This is in no particular order, by the way. I kind of threw this together at the last minute, to be honest, but yeah. Injustice issues 1 and 2. And bye, Darth Vader. And the Darth Vader issue. Sorry, if you're from England, you know where that advert's from. It used to play quite a lot when the Revenge of the Sith was playing. And it's kind of like this jokey esque parody of the Star Wars thing. So let's review Injustice. If you must, Injustice actually was the top of my list for this week, in case you were wondering. So Injustice issue 1 and 2 basically goes like this. It begins by establishing the gods of Olympus, and they basically are fully aware of what's going on Earth, and this basically and the gods are basically deciding to go to Earth and re-establish their place amongst the mortals. That the gods are in power and they're in control. Meanwhile, on the Earth side of things, Superman and the Justice League continue their search for the missing Batman, who Batman and his team have basically been hiding for a very, very long time. And Superman is becoming more and more of a tyrant, even amongst his own people, like even amongst his own Justice League. He's beginning to show dominance. Yeah, this is causing quite a lot of conflict, which is something very much that we saw in the Injustice video game. Meanwhile, on the flip side, the Batman's team is also having their own conflict. Like, Catwoman is beginning to lose faith in Batman. And the team are basically losing faith that Batman can continue with his with what he's doing. And this basically results in Montoya challenging Superman. Yeah, so it basically results in Montoya basically challenging Superman. These two issues were really good, are a really good start to Injustice. And I think it's a very, very good start for Bersaletto. I really butchered that name, but I think it's a really good start for Bersaletto's run on Injustice. And who knows how long this series is going to continue. I reckon that Injustice might end after this, after year 4. So it should be very, very interesting, sort of seeing how this, potentially last run continues and how it ties into the game. What I found interesting is this year 4 promises to basically establish gods versus Superman, and Hippolyta is basically a part of this scheme for gods to basically re-establish themselves. And we do know that at some point Wonder Woman became the Queen of Themyscira, so definitely seeing Wonder Woman's relationship with her mother and how this is going to relate to Wonder Woman is going to be very, very interesting. I really like the concept of the lack of faith with the leaders of Superman and Batman. It's definitely clear that this battle between these two is basically cost a lot and has really affected this group in multiple different ways. And I think that gives a lot of think it gives a lot of intrigue and a lot of background information that the game never provided. I also really, and Montoya is a very interesting character in this opening. She basically is still mourning over the death of Huntress. However, what I don't entirely understand is what sort of relationship that Montoya and Huntress have. It was never something that I saw in the comic books. I'm not really altogether quite sure what Montoya's relationship with Huntress actually is. And so I do feel like it does seem a bit strange that Montoya is mourning in the way that she's mourning. But it definitely creates some very interesting conflict that reignites the battle. I also love the way Superman says, if you ever don the costume of Batman again, I know it's time for us to have our final battle. And I really like that. So that's Injustice. The next book I'm going to be reviewing for you is Uncanny X-Men, issue 34. Uncanny X-Men issue 34 really finalizes Dazzler's story and the conflict that she's been having with Mystique. Basically, in this issue, Dazzler goes after Mystique, and she strikes up a deal with Maria Hill to basically give all of Scott Summers' students the clean slate. And it really gives this sort of finalization that Dazzler, being the mutant liaison for S.H.I.E.L.D., is a great fit, and sort of begins this mending of sorts between humanity and mutants, and the fact that they're working together side by side. It's exactly what Cyclops, Magneto, Hartley, but it's exactly what Cyclops and Charles Xavier has been trying to do all their lives. And what's really interesting about this issue is it establishes the flawed nature between Cyclops and in part Charles Xavier. It more focuses on Cyclops, but I feel it's talking about Xavier as well, because these two men were so flawed in what they set out to do. They weren't able to take a step back and allow humanity to fully embrace mutants properly. And I really like the fact that Dazzler does become this mutant liaison. However, I argue there are possibly better mutants out there that could have filled that role. But, you know, it's Bendis' run, and that's perfect in my opinion. And I love how this book sort of ends. It ends with the question: Does a mutant even have to become an X-Man? Great issue. Unfortunately, we have to wait until after Secret Wars in order to find out the ending to Bendis' run, because sadly Marvel has delayed Uncanny X-Men issue 600, which is really disappointing, because I would have liked to have seen an end for all new X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, found out what was going to happen. So that's Uncanny X-Men, and now finally we have Darth Vader. So in this story, Darth Vader and his droid army board a ship-type creature which looks similar to the Chitauri, like ship creatures that we see in the Avengers movie. And basically, he goes on board this ship and he attacks everyone. And he eventually meets Silo 5, who we saw in issue 1, I believe, from what I can remember. And it basically revealed that Silo 5 has been creating cybernetic replacements for Darth Vader. What's interesting about the Darth Vader series is how it reflects back to the prequel trilogy. For instance, we see the Naboo ship from episode 1. The two droids are a direct parallel to C-3PO and R2-D2. And this stuff really gets me interested in this Darth Vader character. And it's interesting to sort of see how Darth Vader deals with, all of these reminders about his past life. And Aphra is very similar to Padme, and I reckon this might be Aphra's undoing, because she's so similar to Padme. I reckon that Darth Vader might kill her because the flush of emotions and the flush of memories will begin to really affect him. And I love that. And I just love that idea. Like Aphra says herself, I'm going to die eventually by your hand. And it's such a great moment, and Aphra's such a nice character. And I really like the idea of having new apprentices. And the fact that these new apprentices don't have the Force is obviously a direct parallel against Vader's beliefs and against the very idea of the Force itself. So I find that very interesting, and it's interesting to see how Darth Vader and the Emperor both deal with this. So, the Darth Vader series is definitely worth getting. I feel as if it's not the best series in the world, but it's definitely a good story. Anyway, guys, that's the end of this comic book haul. And I shall see you all next month for the next comic book haul. Bye.